Good morning, dear students. In the previous class, we had discussions regarding the various aspects. We speaks about the various components of your learning styles, learning types, and in addition to that, the training need assessment and what are the objectives of training need assessment and what are the different methods one can able to use in order to get the feedback from the what you call the customers. These are the aspects which we have discussed in detail in the previous class. In today's class, we will concentrate towards much of about the types of training methods. We had discussed regarding the training needs method, and today we'll discuss about the different methods of training. Friends, normally the methods of training which has been broadly segregated and categorized into two. One is on-the-job training and another one is off-the-job training. Here the name itself indicating on-the-job training, performing the jobs where the employees are going to be working, where the employees are going to be performing the task, there itself the training is going to be imparted, and that will be called as on-the-job training. Whereas in case of off-the-job training, the training is going to be scheduled or conducted in a separate platform other than the working environment for the purpose of again to impart the what we call the skill oriented or value based orientation in the training program. Let us go one by one. What are the other components? What are the other methods of on-the-job training? As I said, there are eight methods which are comes under the on-the-job training. One is vestibule training, apprenticeship training, coaching or training by supervisor, orientation or induction training, understudy training, job rotation, assistance to training method, and teaching machine method. And then after discussing all these things in detail, we'll move on towards off-the-job training. As I said, in case of on-the-job training, when the employees are trained while they are performing the job, it is called on-the-job training. That is why I already spoke. Under this method, the employees learn by doing. They are going to be keep on doing the activities or keep on doing the what you call the allotted work. While doing that work itself, that they try to learn. The employees can learn the practical problems while working on the job. When the training is subjected to the more of practical or more of technical oriented, in order to make them to be get the more technically feasible and viable, they used to be go for in part the practical oriented training program as and when they are going to be working in the organization. By that, it will be more effective for them. They will be get lot of technical inputs while executing the task. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of on-the-job training? Before going to discuss about other components. See, the merits are concerned, simple and easy to understand. It is not so complex because, as I said, the employees are going to be learn while working in a setup organization, in a working setup. Thereby, they try to learn while executing the task. Less costly and no separate instructor is required. No separate trainer, no separate what you call a faculty who is going to be required to train the employee. Just the employees, the functional head or the supervisor of group, he is going to be explaining the complexity of the work while executing in front of all the employees. That's why instructor is not required and it is very less costly when compared to off the job training. The third one is person is trained under same machine and he works in future. He will be given the training where exactly he has to perform the task, which machine is going to be using for execution of task. There itself, the training will be imparted. How to operate the machine, how to on the switch on the machine, and how what you call safely you can able to perform your task in front of the machine, how you need to maintain the machine, all these things related training which will be given when an employee who is going to be working over there. What are the disadvantages? Unfortunately, which is also not free from certain limitation. disturbs the regular schedule and production flow. Sometimes they are going to it will be disturbing the what we call the regular work schedules. If there is no training, the employees they will come, log into the organization, they will start their working. But when there is a training program, definitely it will be hampers or it will deviate your regular work from the what we call when a training program is going to be scheduled. An operator can't provide efficient training as good as an instructor. The machine operator is not what you call he is not good, though he might be having a lot of knowledge, he could not able to impart the training like very formal way, because he is a just operator of that particular machine. Whatever the knowledge he might be having, he might be trained them informally, whatever the method which he may feel which is very feasible and it may be very easy for others to understand. Operator escape by assigning his work to trainees. Most of the circumstances, the real operator, he cannot perform is the task. Instead of that, he is going to be asked the trainee to do that. Simply he is going to be sit and he is going to be extract the work from them, his work. And the last one is create chances of breakdown. Very costliest machines which will be used by the organization at those circumstances, because of inexperience by the trainees, there is a possibilities of machine breakdowns or which may collapse. That's why they need to be very careful. These are the certain limitations of all the training. Then let us go one by one. What is vestibule training, apprenticeship training, job rotation, etc. This type of training is commonly used for training a personnel for semi-skilled jobs. When semi-skilled jobs, they are going to give a training, a type of training to the employees. Normally, the duration of training ranges from few days to few weeks. It may be 7 days to 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks maximum. Only few for shorter span of period, the training will be conducted. In the training, material, files, and equipments that are used in actual job performance are demonstrated in the classroom. What they used to train in case of the vestibule training, they used to be go for showing the material. What are all the material normally the day-to-day operation the employees are going to be used, which are all the files they are going to be dealing regularly, and what are all the equipment they are going to be used to manufacture the product that are commonly used in actual job performance are demonstrated in the classroom. That will be demonstrated in the artificial simulated environment, where in order to what you call bring them a practical knowledge or practical insight. Vestibule training, which uses equipments which are closely resembles to the actual ones on the job. That's why I said it is like a more or less an artificial simulated environment is going to be created. Now, the best example for vestibule training means if you anybody recently if you have gone for the four-wheelers training by the Maruti showroom or any other showrooms instead of the private people, if you would have gone for these showrooms, before taking you to the road, first they used to be make you to sit in front of the artificial simulated computer, where if you can in the computer you might they will be give you the brake, the clutches, and and the video will be there. You are riding the real cars on the what you call road. Such an impression you are going to be get when you are going to be sat in front of the computer. This is called a what you call simulated environment. Before going and getting inside the road, you try to what you call get a little idea about the actual what you call the picture they try to imbibe on the minds of the employees. Otherwise, you take the examples in the big showrooms, in the big malls, where you will be taken inside the what you call dark room, and some movies or some what you call video games will be played. They will be put your lenses, 3D lenses are 3D lenses they are going to be put, and you may feel that in really you are going and doing it. You are really into that particular environment. This is all the best example which we can able to see in case of the what we call vestibule training. A special area or room is set aside from working environment. Separate an artificial simulation or an artificial environment has to be created again for the purpose of to impart the quality to impart the practical knowledge among the employees. Training is permitted to learn under simulated conditions. You will be permitted to perform the duty not in the real condition or real environment. In the simulated environment you can able to perform or execute this task. No pressure to produce while learning. Normally the pressure will not be what we call imposed. There will be no pressure on the employees when they are under the training, when they are under the learning situation. Suppose if they are going to be pressurizing the employees, there is a possibilities of accidents, the what you call the hazards which may take place inside the organization. In order to avoid that, what they used to do here, they will not pressure the employees whenever they are going to be learned. Duplicate facilities and trainer cost are disadvantages. What is the duplicate facilities? As I said, the creation of simulated environment is again which is a little costlier, and the trainer cost they need to be go for make the payment to the trainer. That's why this is an investment or this is the cost to the organization who are imparting the training to their employees, vestibule training. Certain merits of vestibule training. What are those merits or the advantages or disadvantages of vestibule training? The advantages of vestibule training is that the trainee can concentrate on learning without disturbance of the work noise. Here one can able to learn, one can able to what you call get the knowledge when they are going to be working without having any kind of regular disturbances. The reason is behind they are going to be put aside the real working environment. They are going to be kept under the artificial simulated environment. That's why they are not going to get any kind of disturbances of the real working environment. Secondly, the interest and motivation of the trainees are high as the real job conditions are duplicated. There will be a lot of motivation and interest will be created among the employees again for the purpose of in order to make them to learn. Without motivation, you have learned in the learning principles. Without proper motivation and guidance, one could not able to learn, and when one could not able to learn, we cannot expect a quality or a positive feedback or positive output from them. That's why motivation is very essential. That can be done in case of the vestibule training. The third one is this method is essential in cases where on-the-job training might result in a serious injury, a costly accident, or the destruction of valuable equipment and material. The best example is your aeronautical industry. The spare parts of the aeroplanes are very costlier. When they are going to be giving training, suddenly they cannot take you to the real aeroplane. Instead of that, they used to go for taking the what we call simulated environment. Once you are learned in the simulated environment, then only you will be placed in the real working environment. You will be placed in the real situation. That's why they are not taking the employees to the real working environment, because which may result in serious injury. An employee they may, because of lack of expertise, lack of knowledge, they may get the lot of injuries, a costly accident. They may lose their the parts in the body or parts in the machine, or destructions of the valuable equipments and the materials. The spare parts of the machines or something which may take place the injury. In order to avoid all these things, they will take the employees to the artificial simulated environment. That is the beauty of your vestibule training. Fourth one is correct method can be taught effectively. They are not deviating the concept. They are not going to take you to the different method. Instead of that, whatever is very much required, there will be very pinpointed. They will concentrate very pinpoint. What is required? Only that straight away they are going to be educate them. They're not going to be give any kind of conceptual knowledge to the employees. Taught effectively by the trainer or instructor who knows how to teach. The experienced trainer or instructor who straight away they try to make them to be come out of the hindrance or the difficulties who are those employees they might be having. Straight away they are going to be touching the what you call those concepts. Fifth one is it permits the trainee to practice without the fear of being observed and ridiculed by the supervisor or co-worker. They will not have any kind of phobia. There is no scope for the employees phobia, or there is no scope for them to be someone is being observed how they are going to be performing. Isn't it? Because in order to avoid all these things only, they will take these employees to the separate environment where individually they will be allowed to perform and nobody is going to be observed or supervised. Just an instructor is going to be instruct him or give the certain feedbacks to make use of those facilities. At the end, it is very efficient method of training a large number of employees of the same kind of work at the same time. This method is also useful when it is not advisable to put the burden of training online supervisors and when the special coaching is needed. This is going to be when it's a very efficient and effective training method to a large number of the employees who are working in the same cadre. The next method is, sorry, before discussing those, certain demerits are there in case of your vestibule training. Vestibule training is the most expensive method because of additional investment in classrooms, equipments, and expert trainers. As I already said, they need to be go for creating a separate environment apart from your real working environment. Obviously, which might be incurred a cost, incurred an additional investment, and not only for that environment, the equipments and the material which can be used, and the expert trainer who are appointed to what you call give the what you call expertized inputs to those employees. All are these subjected to the again the cost additional cost to the organization. Second, the training situation is somewhat artificial and the trainee does not get a feel of the real job. When an employee is taken away from the real working environment, if he or she has been put in the artificial simulated environment, somewhere in their mind they might be feel that it is an artificial. I'm not going to be worked in the what we call real type situation. They may get that kind of the feeling in the employee's mind. And the third one is separation of training from the supervisory responsibility may lead to problem in the organization. When an employee, they are going to be separation of training from the supervisory responsibilities. The employees will be separated from the supervisor, then there is a possibility of which may arise the conflict among the workers and the supervisors because of lack of the coordination. Then the next second one is apprenticeship training. What is apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is a way for a young people and adult learner to learn while they to earn while they learn in a real job, gaining a real qualification, a real future. Just you see the beauty of apprenticeship. An adult can earn while learning. You need to learn while you need to earn while learning. It is simultaneously you are getting the money, and in the meanwhile you are also getting the qualification. You are also getting the what you are also learning. This is what the beauty of the apprenticeship training. Hiring apprentice helps business to grow their own talents by developing a motivated, skilled, and qualified workers. This is one of the advantages to the organization because when a students they are going to be studying at their final years or at the end, they are nearing to their end of their graduation. Those time 6 months or 1 year they used to take as the apprentice and they are going to be allowed for them to be work there with a nominal money in the form of a remuneration. The nominal remuneration they are going to be fixed when they are under the training program. This will help your organization to module to mold the to mold those employees, those students, however the organization want. According to the expectation of the organization, they can mold those students. By that, they are going to be motivated them. By that, they are going to be imparted skill, observe the skill, and in the meanwhile, if they are really well versed, if they are really qualified, definitely the organization can able to retain them while paying them more, while regularizing their work. Isn't it here? That's why it is an advantageous to the organization wherein they are going to be get the what we call a good worker. They are going to be retain the good workers at the time of apprenticeship itself, while observing at the time of apprenticeship. Apprentice can be any age between 16 to 24, starting from the 16 years to 24 years. 16 years means normally a diploma holders. After 10th or ITI or diploma holders till the BE graduates or MTech graduates, they are going to become under this apprenticeship training. New recruits or existing member of staff. If they are apprentice, they are newly recruited. If they will be continued and they will become an existing staff of the organization. 3 levels usually lasting from 1 to 4 years. Over 280 type of apprenticeship within a variety of industry sectors ranging from accountancy and engineering to veterinary nursing and ICT. All of these in their own field or in their own specialization, they used to get the what we call apprenticeship. Merits and the demerits. The main advantages of this method is it combines theory and the practice. Simultaneously, theory will be what you call delivered, the lecture will be delivered, and they will also able to give the practical exposure. Both can be possible hand in hand. Second, the trainee acquires skills which are valuable in the job market. Whatever the industry is going to be expect, those skills normally they are going to be acquired during the apprenticeship. The third one is apprenticeship programs provide skilled workforce to industry. If they are directly come from the educational institution from the university, they will be semi-skilled because they have only the conceptual ideas, only the theoretical background. If they would have gone for the apprenticeship, then theory as well as the practical knowledge which may also which they are going to be gained, the soft skill they are going to be gained, and that will help for the industry or the organization to get the skilled workforce in future. Certain demerits are apprenticeship training is time consuming and expensive. It is a time consuming because it takes from 6 months to 1 year. Immediately you could not able to declare them they are the qualified, they are the what you call, they will be having a very skillful employees. They cannot certify them in a short of span of period, and it will be an expensive to the organization because the industry they used to give a very nominal remuneration to the apprentice. Again, it will be a financial burden to the organization. Many persons leave the training program midway as the training period ranges from 1 year to 5 years. In case of long-term training, someone else they complete 1 year or 2 years, immediately they are going to be leave. Apprenticeship training is the oldest method of training that is particularly suitable for learning craft and technical trades wherever the job proficiency is the result of a relatively long training period. In those circumstances, they used to be go for make use of the apprenticeship training. We have the third method is coaching or mentoring. What is this coaching or mentoring? Coaching or mentoring gives employees a chance to receive training one on one from the experienced professionals. This usually takes place after another more formal process has taken place to expand on what trainees have already learned. Whatever the trainees they have already learned, based on that an expert coaching or mentoring will be given one on the other, one on one, that is a complete focus will be given to the an individual. Here there are three examples of coaching and mentoring. Hire professional coaches for managers. Madam, class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Hire professional coaches for managers. Set up a formal mentoring program between senior and junior managers. Implement less formal coaching or mentoring to encourage more experienced employee to coach the less experienced. A senior can explain to the junior, a senior can train to the junior, like that. He is having vast experience in the same period, in the same field. Coaching or mentoring gives a trainees the chance to ask questions and receive through the honest answers. It allows the discussion is possible in case of the coaching and mentoring, one and the other. Something they might not receive in a classroom with a group of people. Suppose in the classroom environment, if the expert they keep on explaining about a particular concept, if one could not able to understand, if the one could not able to understand, then they will be what you call they will talk about outside while clarifying their doubts. Example, again, truck driver could gain valuable knowledge from more experienced driver using this method. You might have seen in case of the long trip truck drivers, a cleaners will be given chance to ride the trucks, especially Bangalore Mumbai highway. If you would have if you would have seen after crossing Ariyar and Davangere, this will be little quite common. In the night journey, they used to give to the cleaners. This is the best example for coaching or mentoring. Four coaching techniques. One is training, counseling, challenging, and mentoring. All of us we know that. There will be a training program. Normally, it will be conducted to educate the employees whenever they are having certain kind of deficiencies. They could not able to perform their task by themselves. That is a clear indication where they are going to be what you call the training will be given. The training is also a part of your coaching. The method may be it may be varying slightly, which may be varying one or the other, whatever the four slides which have shown by media, but all are a part of coaching only. And the counseling will also be given on particular aspect, on particular topic. Regularly, which will be certain inputs will be given to them. By that, they will be understand more, and their doubts and the clarifications will be very minimized. Challenging, giving some assignments or some topic will be given to them, and they will be tell them to be challenging. Whenever they used to challenge, they used to work hard in order to prove out of it. So also kind of a coaching. And the mentoring from the experts, a senior can be what you call give some inputs to the junior. It's a kind of mentoring. They are going to be mentoring their juniors. Next one is induction or orientation training. This is also a part of on-the-job training. It is a training aimed at introducing a newly recruited employees to the organization, such as training program may require a new recruit too. Induction is a kind of training program where they try to introduce a new employees to the existing employees in the organization, the existing work setup in the organization, to tell about the do's and don'ts about the organization, haves and have nots in the organization. This is what induction training program. Now, only the purpose is in order to make those newly recruited employees more comfortable to the new environment. They used to do this. Meet key personnel such as the employees, line managers, and departmental team members. They try to introduce line managers and the departmental heads, supervisory heads. All these persons will be introduced to the newly recruited employees. And they will also be taught to whom they are more accountable. To whom they are more accountable, who is their leader, who is their manager, what are their duties and the responsibilities. All these things will be given at the time of induction training program. Tour the premises including the recruits men, workspace or area. They will make the tour inside the organization because as we know there are different departments which are functioning at the organization. Different departments like HR department, production department, warehouse department, R&D department, finance department, recreational clubs, all the department, marketing department, HR department, all the different functional units or different functional departments are working inside the organization. They will tour the entire premises while accompanying the newly recruited employees. What are the objectives of induction training program? To intimate them about the mission, aims, and objectives of the company. At the time of induction training program, normally the trainer they are going to be intimate to the newly recruited employees what is the mission of the organization, what are the aims and objectives of the organization, what are the core values of the organization. These are the very basic components about the organization. They try to explain them, they try to intimate those employees, provides information about the working hours, working schedules, information about the different top executive officers, information about the board of directors, information about the different departments, information about what we call the nature of the work in the organization. Every information, basic information should be provided or disseminated to those employees to generate the interest. Very beginning, they cannot make the employee to fear. Instead of that they try to create the interest among them about the a new organization, about the what you call the new environment. How they create the interest among the how they create the interest among the newly recruited employees and children. They try to motivate them. They try to motivate those employees. While motivating them, they try to create the interest. Clarify the roles and responsibilities. Clarifying the roles and responsibilities of the employees. What are their duties and responsibilities? Introduction to workmates. That is, their colleagues will be introduced. who are all the co-workers who are there in the particular department. They will be introduced them. And there are certain advantages of your induction program. Employees learn the employer standards, which means employer expectation. Helps to maintain the rules of the organization, rules and regulations of the organization. Structure the structure of companies made known to employees. Structure of the companies that should be made known to employees. Quality standards made known. What are the quality expectations from the organization? No chaos, no doubts. Increase productivity. The main intention is they increase the productivity, thereby they need to achieve the objectives. Objective is to maximize the profitability. Reduce employee turnover. As much as interest will be created among them, as much as motivation will be created among them, thereby they try to avoid the employee turnover. Eliminates anxiety in new employees. That is very essential, because as and when the newly recruited employee, they have a lot of anxieties, the lack of a lot of shy, because the environment is very new. I will give you an example. A girl will marry a boy. After marriage, the girl will leave her house and she will move on towards her husband's house, the boy's house. Very beginning, the day one and the day two, she feel a lot of anxiety because the environment is new, their culture is different, the entire family members are different. It will be very difficult for her to adjust to that environment. It may take time. Like that, even in an organization also, it will take time, what you call, to adjust by them. That's why, as much as possible, they try to eliminate the anxieties in the minds of the employees. There are certain disadvantages. Untrained supervisors. Sometimes the untrained supervisors, they are going to be coming and doing this induction program. Too much information in very less time. In a single day, everything they are going to be keep on, they try to put inside the brain of the employees. There is a possibilities of what you call omitting the information by the employees. Few things only they will recall and everything will go out. Because with short span of period, too much of information has been disseminated. Might fail to give true reflection of the organization. Sometimes what they used to do here, they may not give the true information. They may give the false information will be reflected among the employees. Based on that, they used to be working. Less personnel, generation of over excitement. They try to create the excitement among the employees. They may create more rather than the actual required. Understudy. This is also another method of your on-the-job training. The supervisor imparts training to a subordinate as his understudy or his assistant. That's all, under his guidance. This is understudy will also called as the guidance. The supervisor imparts training to a subordinate as his understudy or his assistant. A supervisor gives a training to a subordinate as understudy, like an assistant to a manager or a director. Subordinate learns through experience and observation by participating in handling day-to-day problems. The best example for supervisory study or understudy is the chartered accountants. You might have seen soon after completion of the BCom, most of the BCom graduates, they used to be go for under the auditors. They used to learn through the experience of the auditors, and they will make the observation by participation in handling day-to-day problems of the what you call the organization, which organization they are going to be auditing. And that example we may give. That's also an on-the-job training program. Next one is job rotation. A job rotation, a job design technique which employees are moved between two or more jobs in a planned manner. A job has to be designed in such a manner. A single employee he has to be moved between two or more jobs. Job rotation is a management technique that assigns trainees to various jobs and departments for a period of few years. You take the example of your bank. There are 5, 6 counters in the bank. Every week, every once in a week or twice in a week, each one of the employees will be changed to their counter. The employee who has sat in the first counter, they may be shifted to the third counter may be shifted to the second counter. Or a better example, or you take the example of your KSRTC. You might have seen in the nameplate, driver come conductor. Some of the buses, a driver before starting his vehicle, he is going to be do the conductor duty. He is going to be issue the tickets. Once the ticket issue is over, and he is going to be ride the vehicle. What is the beauty of the job rotation? The beauty of the job rotation is they try to avoid the unnecessary workforce, which is not at all relevant, which is not at all required. A single person can be able to do multiple tasks. You got my idea. Another intention is, suppose if a particular employee is absent, the work should not stop, or the work should not hamper. It has to be carried out even in their absence. If they are not knowing about that particular work, again it will be stopped. To avoid that, in order to continue those jobs, they try to go for make use of the job rotation. A job rotation allows workers to spend all their time in one routine task, move from one task to another task. We have some job enlargement and job enrichment, which is not required because we study all the job rotation from your syllabus point of view. What are the objectives? Reduce monotony of the job. Keep on doing the same work someone else, they may feel monotony. To break the monotony, which will help shifting from one work to another. Succession planning. By that, one can able to know every aspect in the organization. Creating right employees, job fit. We have a proverb, right person to the right job. When you allow an employee to perform various tasks, by that you can able to observe which work he can do very completely. That will shows he is well suited for that particular job. Exposing workers to all vertical of the company, all the job descriptions he will be well fitted while exposing him to the various position, various situations. Testing employee skills and competencies. Employee skills and competencies will be tested. Developing a wider range of work experience. Within a shorter span of period, one can able to develop a wider range of work experience. The types of job rotation, task rotation and position rotation. In position rotation, within function and cross function. Within the same function you used to work, and sometimes without the boundary, you may go out of the boundary. That is called cross-functional job rotation. We don't require this task rotation and the process rotation and all. Now we move on towards the second classification of the job training, because today is last and as much as possible I try to cover up more. Under this method of training is separated from the job situation or real working environment, and his attention is focused upon learning the material related to his future job performance. There is an opportunity for a freedom of expression of their for the trainees. Of the job training methods are as follows. What are all those methods? The first one is lecture and conference method. That is one of the methods which comes under the job training. Lectures and conferences are the traditional and direct method of instruction. Every training program starts with the lecture and conferences. If it is more of theory based, it's more of what we call a conceptual based, and it will be start from the lecture. It is a verbal presentation for a large audience. A large audience has been be seated in front of in the hall, and a verbal presentation by an expert is going to be keep on narrating or explaining. However, the lectures have to be motivating and creating interest among the trainees. What is the challenge for the lecturer or the trainer here? Here, the more challenge is how best you can able to create the interest among the what you call the audience. How best you can be able to motivate their employees, what you call to create the interest in the lecture. Because it is sometimes we may say lecture method is very a boring method. It is going to subject it to the fatigue, which will not create some sort of the what you call interest. In order to create the interest, they have to motivate. They need to give a lot of examples, illustrations. By that, they try to create some sort of interest among the what you call the employees. The speaker must have considerable depth in the subject. The lecturer, he should have considerable depth knowledge in the subject. If he has no depth knowledge, then he could not able to what he call speak very authoritatively about the subject, and he could not what he call deliver good words. In the colleges and the universities, lectures and seminars are a very common method used for training the students. In the universities and colleges, lecture method is one of the popular and oldest method of training the students community. And what are the advantages? Factual information will be disseminated. They cannot tell the wrong. They cannot tell the cock and bull stories. Only whatever the topic will be given, based on the topic, they try to explain. Useful for large gathering. For large audience, for more number of students, a lecture method is very useful and it is very effective. It is a cost effective since it covers a huge number of the employees and the students. That's why it is a very cost effective manner. Quick and straightforward way. Immediately we can able to tell and explain, and it will be a straightforward way. There is no indirect method. Useful method for auditory learner. The learner, the employers who are more interested in auditory learning, this is the best method of learning for them. Easier to create. Familiar methods and time solving. It will be time solving. Here one question I got from Ms. Priyanka Shetty. Sir, if you have the time, please guide us how to write the answer to 10 marks and 15 marks question in an exam. Because time is very short and it is running very, what you call, very less time. Still, because of your doubts, I will clarify you. For 15 marks questions, you need to write introduction about the concept, and you are straight away you are move on towards the concept, and that will be concluded. You need to conclude it at the end. You should write, you can make use of 4 to 5 pages you need to write for the 15 marks question. Say for example, for 15 marks question, discuss in detail the different types of the training methods. Then you need to write what is training, what are the training methods, what is on the job training method, and what is off the job training method, and each methods which are comes under on the job and off the job, you need to discuss in detail. At the end, you need to write the conclusion. For 10 mark questions, suppose if they are going to be asking, discuss the training needs assessment or explain training need assessment, then you need to write what is training need assessment and which are the methods they are going to be used for conducting the training need assessment. All these things you need to write, and you need to end up with the conclusion. These are the methods you normally you can use it. Internship is another off-the-job training method. An internship is a work-related learning experience for individuals who wish to develop hands-on work experience in a certain occupational field. In order to get the hands-on experience, in order to get expertized what you call inputs, they used to be go for make use of the internship.
An excellent way to determine if the industry and the profession is the best career option. Internship is the best method. It is an excellent method to determine if the industry and the profession is the best career option for them. Then they can go for make use of this. Provide real world experience to those looking to explore or gain the relevant knowledge and skills required to enter into a particular career field. Their real life, they are going to be give the what you call explore the relevant knowledge and skills which are very pertinent. Internship training, advantages and disadvantages, proper guidance, practical exposure, productivity of the organization will improve. They can go for internship. And certain disadvantages are trainings work importance is ignored, work under stressed environment. When they are going to be working under the internship, they need to bear certain risk or stress. The case study method, this is another method under the what we call your off-the-job training method. When the opposing viewpoints of a realistic situation or an event are presented to a group and a logical analyzing involving a judgmental call must be conducted to arrive at a conclusion. This is called as a case study. Then something else, some events has already taken place. Some events have already been took place. Based on that event, they are taking it as a challenge and they are going to be analyzing it very logically and scientifically, and they used to come to a conclusion or the judgment that will be called as a case study. A case study can be presented orally or as a written document, but the process of analyzing and evaluating opposing viewpoints to reach a reasonable conclusion is the same. When should a case study be used? A case study is a useful method when there is no clear cut or easy solution to a problem. Especially court cases, they are going to be using this case study method in order to analyze the new cases. Case studies are useful when real life situations can be used as example to highlight the training topics being covered. In the situation when multiple viewpoints must be considered, case studies can help participants to evaluate the merits of different arguments. What are the different arguments which take place in order to what you call assess that they can go for using the case study method. There are certain advantages and disadvantages of the case study method. Good source of idea about the behavior, good opportunity for the innovation, good method to study a rare phenomenon where you cannot get any clear-cut idea, we can go for using it. Good method to challenge theoretical assumptions, good alternative or complement to the group focus of psychology, they can go for using it. Certain disadvantages are hard to draw definite cause-effect conclusions. Cause and effect relationship you could not draw very scientifically because there is no other what you call the concrete way for analyzing the case study. Hard to generalize from a single case. We cannot generalize the other cases by looking out the previous cases. Possible biases in data collection and the interpretation. There is the possibilities of certain biases in the what we call the case study method. Role play is another method. It involves action, doing and practice, method of human interaction that involves realistic behavior in imaginary situation. Role playing is an active learning technique in which employees act outside the situation under the guidance of a trainer. In each scenario, an employee takes on a role and acts out the scene as though it was a very real one. It encourages individuals to come together to find the solution and to get to know how their colleagues think. The training session have the communal atmosphere sometimes. You might have seen sometimes for educating the government they can go for make use of this role play. In the very ancient methods, for the social epidemics, they are using the role play or the street plays. Thereby, they try to educate the what we call the employees or the common people or the civilians. Advantages and disadvantages. It indicates skill level, prepares for real life. It is social and communal sometimes. Certain disadvantages are time consuming, may not taken very seriously, Some feel uncomfortable. Sometimes some of them they may feel very uncomfortable. And another one is brainstorming method. This is a problem solving experience that involves the rapid fire recording of ideas without criticism or ranking is called brainstorming. A concept will be given for every individual and they ask them to give an idea. Without any criticisms and the ranking, all the ideas will be accepted. Best idea will be selected among the other available ideas. That is called the brainstorming method. Here, the risks will be avoided. The simulation. Under this method, an imaginary situation is created and trainees are asked to act on it. For example, assuming the role of a marketing manager, solving the marketing problems or creating a new marketing strategy for an FMCG product or any other product. How he used to come based on his input, they will be decided. We have Dr. Jacques Phillips model, measure the ROI at one point of time. A level 1 reaction, did they like it? Level 2, did they learn? Level 3 of behavior, did they use it? Level 4 results, did it impact the bottom line? Level 5, what is the return on the investment? How the Dr. Phillips has come out with the model, Dr. Jacques Phillips. You see reaction, the very first one is a reaction. Did they like it? Whatever the training they used to be designed, they used to be developed, did they like the employees? Did they learn really? And what is the behavior? Did they use it? If they learn, of course, whether they are going to be use it in future. And the fourth is results. Did it impact the bottom line? Did it impact the bottom line workers? And return is, what is the return on investment? If the production will go improved, productivity will be improved, then they can be what you call, say that is the reaction return. Halton transfer climate approach, you have there here, and the HRD, we have subsystems of HRD. There are 10 the points which are comes under the subsystems of HRD, and many other aspects which I could not able to cover out here. I will send you the PPT. If you have any doubts still, you please feel free to contact us over the phone, or we are in the very much available in the department, or you can mail us. We try to solve your problems. Thank you very much.